Welcome back. This is Teach and Turtle with another Etheria restart video. So this is day 3 of my account, right? Joined September 25th. And so far I've cleared almost every single GP outpost Tel 3. So just the max level, right? At this point it feels worth farming, right? So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm farming a lot of these extra mats at the highest difficulty I can in order to level up some of my SSRs. And also, if I could, I would max out my Casio's prowess for the skill 3, but actually I can't do the green dungeon as easily because I've been hashtag blessed and I'm not very relatable to most of the community. I have Lilium, Yelly, and Plume as my SSRs, and I have Mia as my only RGB. So yeah, I have that going for me, the GP outposts. I've also been able to clear the Terramaton and Doki Doki Nightmare 3s, right? The Nightmare 3s were giving me a bit of trouble earlier in the day, but after actually building up my Lilium and also just getting what's more modules, it's looking a lot better now. Right, so I have attack, crit rate, attack there, and I have attack, crit damage, crit rate here. So decent mix of just like kind of hodgepodge stuff. This was because I got this from the first clear of the Nightmare 3, right? So it gives you some better modules than what are even possible to farm at all when you do the first clear. Alright. In terms of Grim Pursuit, I did Kururu a total of 120 times exactly in order to finish out that achievement, right? So you're kind of forced to kill the bosses a ton of times, right? So I did Kururu was 60 times. I did Fabian 120 times, right? And then I'm starting on Whitney, but Whitney's not nearly as important, just because the shells aren't really as good. So the Fabian shells, the Twilight Knight, the Black Flag, and the Diamond Heart are all really good. Meanwhile, Whitney's are kind of mid. They're like okay, but they're nothing that you super need, especially since there's not really a real DPS shell here. Alright, so what I thought I'd like to share today is some tips on what you want to do weekly, right? So one of the most important things on your first week is make sure you always do these PvP things, right? Summon Arena, right? Just playing games gives you some of these tickets, right? You can get 2,000 a week, and what happens is you can buy some really important things, right? For my first week, I'm probably going to buy out this entire stuff, all 10 of these. It's going to be like 2 red shadow prints. That's going to help me a lot in order to 6-star some more characters, right? Or even just 5-star a bunch, right? And then afterwards, super important is getting this perfect lattice shards. If you buy this 10 times for just 3,000 tickets, that's literally a whole lattice, right? In the long term of things, you probably want to buy out the entire shop, but for your first month of playing, you might not be able to buy quite all of them, right? The Anima Crystal Point is not as important early on, but it gets way more important later on as you're going to get dupes from this shop of your key units, such as like hold-in dupes, which are super good. Likewise, for the Etheria, you want to be buying out these tickets every day, a max of for full 10. Okay? I've already bought my full 10, and I have 5 left over. Right? You can carry a max of 10 normally, right? So if I have 5 during the day, and the day ends, what happens is I'm going to get the +5 daily tickets to a cap of 10, right? If you have 6 or more tickets at the end of the day, then you'll still only go up to 10 though, right? So I'm just keeping these 5 because it's easier to rank up later in the week, right? Rather than earlier, since other people are going to get points, and you get more points based on how far above they are than you. Now when doing these fights, it's totally a-okay to just fight the weakest guy over and over. But if you're trying to rank up really quickly, what you can try doing is you can just click challenge. It'll load up. You can see their shells, right? Especially early on, shells are the biggest indicator of an account's strength. So here I can see, okay, they have Twilight Knight, they have Black Flag, Black Flag, Black Flag. That means they have farmed quite a lot, right? And since they have Lily on Black Flag, that's pretty dangerous for me, right? So I'm just gonna nope out of that one. Right? But sometimes you might find someone who's a bit weaker, right? So maybe this guy. Let's check. Right? Nope, same thing. They have all the gold level shells. I'm not going to bother with that. Right? Now, if you want to take the easy way out, the names with these dots in the middle are the generic names. All bots have these names, but also people can manually add names of that type as well. And if you click here, you'll notice that usually those bots have really bad shells. So they have no gold shells. Their best is the Budo Panda, right? And then they have a lot of 3-star units, right? Now, one thing I advise against is if you see someone with a level 1 Leon and the rest of your guys look really strong, you probably don't want to fight them, right? The reason why is because they reset the Leon, but they might have a bunch of really strong units otherwise, right? So if their only DPS is Leon, then maybe you can go for it, but otherwise I wouldn't recommend that. All right, so let's see if we can find a fight that's takeable. Right. So this guy's the Unbridled. I forgot what the second word was, but that shell over here on the right 2 units, so those are a bit weaker, right? I could try to fight this, right? Hoping that I'm fast enough, right? And I can kill some of them. Right? And you know what? I'll just try it. Wow, that Infonio is really fast. Okay. So they get the immunity and the Rhyme Bloom buff for the attack, which is a lot, but I can dispel. And I'm going to want to focus on the Yelly, because the Yelly is possible to one-shot my Lillian and my own Yelly. Right? So I'll do that. Unfortunately, didn't get the immunity down dispel there, so no defense down either. I think I just want to do the Lillian here so I don't die there, in case I get one-shot. The Leon is pushed up. Leon probably won't one-shot, but the turn meter down could be very disastrous. Okay, so out of these 2 choices, I can hit the Leon or the Yelly. I definitely want to hit Yelly because Yelly's moving next. Right? If I can one-shot the Yelly here, then I'm sitting pretty. Alright. And now I just clean up house, kill the other TPS. Not getting follow-ups on Yelly is really weird. And even if one of my DPS died, I still have another one, as well as I have the Sonya to help support. Right. Hopefully I don't lose here. That'd be really embarrassing. After just saying that. There we go. And now I can just auto the rest of the fight. I'm just gonna focus the Lily now. So, in the same vein as these PvP matches, right after, we're going to look at the Fearless matches. So that's another section of these real-time battles, but are only for the weekends, Saturday and Sunday. Now, a very important thing as a new player is that actually you are in a different queue than the others, right? So everyone on level 39 and below is in a separate queue. Everyone 40 and above is in a different queue. Okay? What that means is that when fighting in Fearless Arena, what you can do is, if you have access to the red shells, then you can basically win like every match, right? So if you are level 35, right, and not quite 40, right, so you're between level 35 and 39, you have access to these White Fang, the Artisan Shells, the Gigabyte, the Alicorn, and you will be way, way stronger than everyone else in the Fearless Arena, right? And because there's a different queue, you can get the special rewards here a lot more easily. Right? You can get the win 5 championships without a single defeat. You can get the win matches in a row. Where's that one? Win 3 consecutive championships. Right? It goes to 3, 5, 10. Right? Win 3 times in a week. You can try going for the 10 wins in a week. Right? And these are really hard achievements to get later on. But in your first week of playing, first 2 weeks of playing, if you're under level 40, it becomes a lot easier, right? So you can kind of farm some of these cool backgrounds or something, the cool borders, right? Before it becomes really, really hard, and you'll never get any of these until you hit level 100, and even maybe past that. So, easy way to get those achievements early on, right? I'm gonna wait another day. I might be able to hit level 35 by tomorrow. Not quite sure yet. But either way, I'll just wait for the tomorrow and then get all those points. Initially, the Fearless Arena also gives the same tokens as the Summit Arena. They just give a less per match. But you want to do Fearless Arena every week anyways, because if you win the championship, you get 1/10 of a lattice there. Alright, another thing is you want to be joining a union immediately, right? Joining a union means you get a bunch of free stuff, right? You get some free stability, you get a bunch of these coins, right? And those coins can be used in the union shop to buy, what do you guess? More lattice, right? The lattice is going to be the most important thing in the long term, right? Even these evolution lattices are actually really, really important too. Right. I went ahead and went for the red shadow print because I'm just trying to boost my account ASAP. And with the tournament in the month, like every single 6-star that's possible is gonna be super important. I don't think you can get a full 10 6-stars easily, right? So every single 6-star is gonna be really important there. Right. On the other hand, I'm not really using my lattice right now because I don't know exactly what I want to invest in, because we're only gonna have maybe 25 total lattice during the event, the tournament. And so I've only used lattice in my Lilium, as well as the ones that I'm just going to reset from the Leon. Okay. So I'm going to reset Leon before day 7. But if I had Lily, I would boost Lily's S1. But otherwise, I'm just kind of chilling on my golden lattice. I want to save it, see what I can invest into, what comps I should go towards Cleave. Should I go Bruiser? Should I go CC? Right. The purple lattices, though, those I'm a bit more free with. I'm going to level up this, get the Hazy Chief on Valerian, and that's going to be a huge boost for the PvE clearing. And I think Valerian and... well, I guess Lily doesn't need Valerian, but the Lilium, as well as the Plume, right? If I had latticed up those, then I'm sitting pretty well for a lot of the PvE stuff. Now, another important thing to watch out for in this upcoming week is this Ember Trek is resetting very, very soon. Right? You want to do as much of this as possible because these rewards are really big, right? I even just did this one earlier just for the XP books because that was a lot of books when trying to go to even 5-star, right? And what happens is you can spin this wheel and get some really good rewards. The best thing to hit on this wheel is this up arrow one because then you can get this special rewards afterwards, right? But honestly, those pools, those are pretty good rolls anyways. Alright, but if you finish out this entire thing, right, that might be maybe like 30 pools, 30 summons, and a lattice at the very end, right? As well as after you beat this, you get the hard mode unlocked, right? Now, you want to do as much of this as possible early on in your first month because this refreshes, you can do it again, but if all the ones you complete in normal mode, you automatically get the rewards without having to do it again, right? A lot of people consider this very tedious as a game mode, walking around, trying to do everything. But it's not too bad when it does it for you after the reset, right? Another thing, another quick tip is after you clear the floor, what you can do is say you cleared all the enemies, right? Open all the chests. What you can do is you can actually tab out or click on the top right. You can click exit level, right? If you got all the chests, killed all the enemies, you can click exit level, and then it'll already give you access to the next level. You don't have to walk all the way to the end door, right? It's actually faster because there's less loading screens going through here too. Okay. Now with that out of the way, I think it's time for our summons. So what I got is I have 70 summons. I have 10 from the free summon for 10 pool. I got 6 10 pools from regular summons. And that goes to show just how much the game gives you, right? I've pooled like 80 summons on the first day, another 60 on the second day, another 70 on the third day. So you get a ton of summons on these first few days. Let's see what we have it. I'm at 25 pity to the next. Oh, so I got it early, right? And what do we get? Oh, sweet. Alright, that's going to make PvE even easier, and Infonial has a huge attack buff, 40% attack buff, plus her special 40% additional on top on her S3. Can I get a double? That would give me another red shadow print for the achievement, but it doesn't look like it. But still pretty good, pretty lucky. Getting early and also a very nice SSR there. Infonio is going to be very good for the Aurora clears eventually after that dungeon is unlocked. Get another Nell. No SSR here. Kraken. Arindian Bowed. Oh, a lot of SRs. Wow. That's pretty nice. Okay. Really happy with the Kazuo dupe. Right? The Chiaki dupe might also be important later on. And the Rin could be useful if I go super heavy on the speed cleave. More SRs. We got just the Sonya. Sonya dupes are actually really, really nice. If you get the maxed out Sonya, she becomes a lot tankier, which is useful in PvP. She's a staple in PvP for bruiser comps. RC77, Victor, both the ones that are not really used too much. Right, Victor almost no one uses, sadly, after he got nerfed from the beta. RC77, I use him in my Doki Doki speed clear, leveling up his S3 to just level 3. Another golden one. Let's see what happens. Right. I'm hoping for like a Fuchio or a speed cleave support like Beontin or Freya. Diding is actually really nice. I don't know if I'm actually going to use him in this account though, because even my purple lattice is going to be pretty tight in the tournament. And Ditting isn't really a PvP character. Right. Now, I already have the Lilium, so I might not even build a Ditting. I was actually hoping for the Ditting earlier before I got the Lilium, because Ditting single target damage is insane, higher than quite a few of the SSR DPSs. Okay, Dorothy, I've never used her. And let's see, what SSR do we get? Celince. Interesting. This gives me ideas. I can go for the Freya Celince combo. Celince, if you max her S2 now, it was just changed where you get a 30% max HP shield, right, at the very start of the fight. With Freya, the Bulwark setup, you can try going for the Freya boost, which gives you turn meter anytime you get a buff, right? Well, that shield and the Bulwark count as buffs, and so what happens is you can get an insane turn boost using the Freya plus Celince as an opener, right? So with this, you can get a 4% turn boost every time you get a buff. Right? So you can get an 8% turn boost additional at the start of the fight. Right? That's about like 50 speed equivalent, which is really massive. All right. Wait, I forgot. Did I even have more summons? No, I don't. Wait. That's my LDs. I got one more. Okay. And another one early? Nope. Okay. Chiaki the Echo, and that's it. All right. So that's it for the day. Tomorrow I'm going to get level 30, which means I can unlock the max level investigation and the main quest finishing. Right, so that'll be pretty useful, just getting some more levels on my sorely under-leveled characters, including the Gray. I'm still using it 4-star. But yeah, until tomorrow, I'll see you later.